Welcome to part 2 of this module. If you haven't already, feel free to download the steps of the exercise to make it easier to follow along with your own situation.
So let's switch gears a little bit. Do you have an exercise for us?
Surprise, 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 I do.
All right, let's do it.
Okay, number one. Okay, this has got 4 parts to it. Number one, in what situations could better contracting for relationship management be useful for you? It could be a home situation. If you really want to focus on leadership, make it a work situation. That's number one. In what situation? Think of a situation where better contracting for relationship management could be useful for you. Number two, what beliefs do you have that would make doing so uncomfortable for you? The reason behind this question is that it's not a routine thing for people to think about contracting for healthy relationships and good communication, and folks seem to feel uncomfortable about doing something that is that different. So think about, what are your beliefs that make it uncomfortable for you to do that? Number three, who could you recruit to help you to follow through? So many folks are so uncomfortable that they just don't follow through. You need somebody that will hold you accountable for following through with doing the contracting for healthy relationships that you say you want to do. And then number four is simple. Are you actually going to do it?
Okay. So this is an exercise. It doesn't sound like I can do this all in the next couple of minutes. That's something I need to go take away with me and work on.
Well, yes. And there's a handout that lays out those 4 steps for you so that you can do that. And Ronnie, sometimes you just have these kind of things on top of your mind. Uh, do you have one now?
Yes, I'm going to go back to an example that I used previously in module 1 of this course,
Yes,
which was around a person that I had delegated to.
I
And
remember that. Mhm.
yeah, so I had delegated and I wasn't, I thought I was clear and explicit on what my intentions were and what my expectations were, and could have definitely used better contracting in that situation because I think I had a set of assumptions around what good looked like or what done looked like or just getting started looked like in this case. That I mean, I wasn't clear. Obviously, my intentions weren't clear. This because the person didn't actually do anything. Um, so when you ask what are my beliefs that I had around that, I would say I had a set of beliefs around, just being professional. That when you're in an organization and you're a professional in an organization, if someone says, okay, here's the task for you to do, that you do it because that is your job, right? That's what you're hired to do. And so it's
Well, may I
always,
back you up a little bit here?
yes,
From what I remember of that situation, you actually checked with him for his understanding about your directions, and he
yes,
said that he understood them. That
yes,
the problem that was there, that he wasn't willing to say to you that he could use some more support.
that is correct.
So that's the issue there. What was so to me, you had a relationship management issue where he wasn't. He felt it was going to be a little risky for him to really speak up to you. Can you speak to that point a bit?
Well, as it turned out, it wasn't just me that he had this issue with. He actually found it risky to speak up at all in this organization to myself, with his coach, with anyone. So I actually talked to his coach about this situation, saying, this is what happened. This is what I expected to have happen. What's going on here? And it turns out that he did have issues speaking up that, had to do with him. I'm jumping to conclusions a little bit, but it had more to do with his ability to speak up. Because when he did speak up, he was very hesitant, and I mean, he got very emotional in speaking up, you know, um, which was always surprising to me, and pushing back. So I just expect that someone with that amount of experience would feel safe enough.
Well,
It's not like this person was a new hire, a
mhm.
new person just straight out of college, which I would have kind of expected that behavior from.
So we're really back to expectations again that
Mm,
were unspoken. It's the unspoken expectation that leads to the upset. Good contracting gets rid of those unspoken expectations. If someone, his boss or you, because he was working with you,
mhm,
that is the issue that we're talking about. You needed him to follow through.
right.
So therefore, it was incumbent upon you to contract with him for the quality of relationship that would work for you. Now, you may have then found out that, about all of his other issues, but then you would not have misled yourself that he was going to do something that he wasn't going to do. Then maybe you would have found somebody else who would have followed through, or maybe you could have helped him to think through whatever his issues were so that he could follow through. The key here is to get rid of the expectations so that we're on the same page, or we know that we're not on the same page and can do something different.
At some point, Michael, it becomes a performance issue, right? This person was
Sure,
just not performing to expectations,
sure.
and which is what eventually surfaced. And there may be a lot of reasons that was the case. The way that I clarified his role or his job or what was expected of him or didn't. There may have been many other issues at play, professionally and personally for him. So I just want to, I think, just coming back to that, what I hear you saying in my particular situation, I had a set of beliefs around what it meant to be a professional in an organization, a set of, I expected him to act like what I would term an adult. And he didn't act that way, and or push back or give me feedback on what wasn't working. And he wasn't able to do that because he didn't feel safe doing that. And what I should have done in that situation is just acknowledge that that relationship wasn't quite there and spend some time understanding what building that relationship so we could have been a lot more clear what about the work and what needed to happen.
Yes, yes. But I want to say a little bit more. You know, that if you had been clear with him that he was expected to speak up,
Mm,
then he might have shared with you, "Oh, ma'am, uh, please don't expect that of me." And if that was important to you, then you could have said, "Oh, well, then I need to find somebody else to do this." Through doing that kind of contracting, you would not have been disappointed when he did not follow through because you would have known, oh, this is not a good bet here. And
right.
you would have found somebody else. Or maybe through the conversation, you would have built a better relationship with him so that he would have followed through. The issue is it's so easy when things are not working out because of poor contracting to blame it on somebody else when we haven't done our part in being explicit about the contract we need for both intention and the quality of communication and relationship that we must have if it's going to work well. Otherwise, you're going to waste time, which is what happened in your case.
Oh, I think the other thing upon reflection, and this may be a bit of a tangent here, But what if you don't want to have a relationship with that person?
Then don't work with that person.
Okie dokie. That was easy.
You know, uh, if you have to work with someone, then you need to find a way to have a decent relationship with that person. Otherwise, you're going to just run into trouble. Yep, short and sweet there.
All right. Well, I think it's time to close out this wonderful conversation and see if you have any final words for us, Michael.
Well, just to repeat what we've said, contracting is great for being sure that everyone is on the same page and going to the same place, both in terms of our intention, our goals, strategies, and tactics, and how we are going to relate to each other to keep us in sync with each other. Contracting is at the very heart of effective projects.
Great. Thank you, Michael. If you'd like any further dialogue with Michael, please go to the online forum. It's time to say goodbye, Michael.
Goodbye, Michael, and goodbye to you too, Ronnie.